I've covered right-wing Christian activism for many years, and one of the constants, especially over the past decade or so, has been a group laughably called 1 Million Moms. They get mocked constantly, even on late night TV, because they always complain about the silliest things that they say are ruining our children's lives. What's weird, though, is how little people actually know about the group. I mean, I'm almost certain you've never met anyone who's a member, even if you're an evangelical Christian. And there's a good chance you have no idea who runs the group. You've never seen her anywhere. You probably don't even know her name. But that mystery is what gives the group its power. Because the only thing anyone ever knows about it, if they know about it at all, is that it seems to be 1 million moms. So we should listen to what they have to say, because listening to your mother is a good idea, and they always want what's best for the children. So I thought it might be helpful to just run through a few basic facts about 1 million moms, because they're not going away. Not yet. But maybe if more people knew who they were, the facade around their image would crumble and their impact would go away. 1 Million Moms is a project of the American Family Association, which is a right-wing, fundamentalist Christian group that started in 1977 and is now considered an anti-LGBTQ hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center, for whatever that's worth to you. That's not just name-calling, by the way. The group is considered hateful, among other reasons, because they reject the very existence of trans people and say things like homosexuality is dangerous to your health and that gay people are basically predators who are coming after your kids. The American Family Association also runs the website One News Now, which is like Breitbart, but even more insane and more religious. They also employ a guy named Brian Fisher, who has been liberal blog fodder for well over a decade and once blamed gay people for the Holocaust. Seriously. So once upon a time, the American Family Association decided to launch 1 Million Moms. I can trace the group back to about 2001. Thank you, Internet Archive. And the goal back then was to respond to the, quote, sewage the networks are sending into our homes in the name of entertainment, unquote. It would take another decade, however, before anyone really noticed them. By the way, interesting side note here, according to a 2018 tax return filed by the American Family Association, they have about $30 million in the bank, which means they can fund stuff like 1 Million Moms even if no one wants it. That's why 1 Million Moms remains relevant. That's why I think it's worth knowing who they are and what they do. The group began picking up steam in 2011 because they got angry at Ben & Jerry's ice cream for coming out with a flavor called Sweaty Balls in honor of the infamous Saturday Night Live sketch. 1 Million Moms launched a petition to put a stop to the travesty. They got mad at ice cream. And everyone laughed at them because that's a crazy thing to be mad about. But they didn't really get national attention until the following year, in 2012, when they launched a boycott against the department store JCPenney because the company had done something truly awful. They hired Ellen DeGeneres as a spokesperson. And I don't know if you know this, Ellen is a lesbian. That's it. That's what they didn't like. That's what they felt was bad for children. 1 Million Moms said in a statement at the time, "Funny that JCPenney thinks hiring an open homosexual spokesperson will help their business when most of their customers are traditional families." I guess they never realized that most people don't care if Ellen is gay, since that's old news, or that we're not all awful people like they are, Or that same-sex couples also need clothing and have families and would consider themselves fairly traditional in most ways. Or that Ellen was hired because she's just really popular. And guess what? As with just about all of their boycotts, that one failed. JCPenney said it was keeping Ellen, and Ellen even said on her show that she appreciated them sticking by her side since she was traditional. She even said, quote, "Here are the values that I stand for. I stand for honesty, equality, kindness, compassion, treating people the way you want to be treated, and helping those in need. To me, those are traditional values," unquote. I know Ellen has been the subject of bad publicity recently, but that was one of the highlights in a career that's had a lot of them. 1 million moms claimed victory anyway, saying, quote, "We have heard back from men and women, not just moms, saying they will no longer shop there at JCPenney as long as Ellen DeGeneres is their spokesperson," unquote. Which is kind of like saying you're boycotting Amazon and two people told us they won't buy anything from there anymore. Like, first, I want names because I don't trust you. And two, I promise you Jeff Bezos isn't losing sleep over it. This may be the most shocking thing about 1 million moms to people who are not familiar with the group. It's really just one angry Christian mom. More on her in a moment. But here's why I know that it's definitely not 1 million people. If you go to their website today, there's no way to join it. You can donate money to the American Family Association, but you don't get a 1 million mom membership card. You don't pay dues. Their Twitter account has a few thousand followers, literally. And Facebook has more, but a lot of those people are just hate following the group to see what crazy stuff they'll post next. The only members they have are people on their mailing list, but that list includes people like me, and I don't support them at all. So why the name? Well, when you're launching a group that has 0 members, calling it 1 million anything will get you attention. And also, conservative Christians don't care if they lie to people. They spread lies about abortion and conversion therapy and trans people in bathrooms all the time. Why stop now? Also, 1 million moms sounds official. It sounds intimidating. It's a lot scarier to retailers than one Christian mom with a lot of spare time. The website even says, if you look hard enough, that the name is more aspirational than anything. Quote, "We are searching for 1 million moms who are willing to join the fight for our children. We want our children to have the best chance possible of living in a moral society," unquote. So 1 million moms is a goal, not a description. It's why Pat Robertson originally called his show the 700 Club, because when he launched, he wanted 700 members to give him money to keep his TV station going, not because he already had them. But back to that description. I don't even believe that mission statement about doing this for the kids, since the American Family Association's political arm pushed for the election and re-election of a president who gropes women, uses racial slurs, ignores the pandemic leading to the shutdown of schools, and lies every day. That's not helping any kids. Anyway, now to the question you're really wondering, who is the angry mom in question? It's Monica Cole. Yeah, she has a name. She's the only person associated with the group as far as I can tell since it really took off. She doesn't do many interviews. I've tried to get one, but she won't respond to my emails. I don't know why. But the few times she does speak and describes her group, it's kind of fun to watch her skirt around the name and just pretend she represents a lot of women.
1 Million Moms is a network of Christian moms and grandmothers and aunts that are working together to help stop the exploitation of our children in the media and entertainment industry.
Yeah, it's a bunch of moms and grandmothers and women. There's no group. It's just her. 1 million moms, sorry, I mean Monica, gets mad about the dumbest things. Over the years, she's complained about commercials airing on TV that use the words damn or hell, even jokingly. Last year, Burger King introduced kids' meals that represented emotions other than happy, because they said, not everyone's happy all the time. Cute swipe at McDonald's there. One of the boxes, though, said DGAF. Don't give a f. Monica was very mad about that because, clearly children have no emotions other than happy, and seeing the letters DGAF on a box may lead to questions. I guess parents don't know how to say, oh, it stands for don't give a fudge. She also gets mad when commercials use sexual innuendo, like when an elderly couple recently said they had a secret love language. Honey, are you in the mood for some Dole fruit bowls? Wink, wink. Monica could not deal with that, even though that couple was straight. Speaking of which, she really gets mad when gay couples are shown anywhere doing anything, like eating food, or appearing on the cover of Parents Magazine, or getting married on a kid's TV show like Arthur, because she thinks it normalizes gay people, and treating certain humans as normal goes against her Christian faith. Monica also got angry about gay duck dads appearing on DuckTales, because I guess Jesus told her even ducks have to be straight. The only way Monica wants to see gay couples is when they're shown burning in hell. She also gets really upset whenever Oreos or a cereal company does anything pride-related. Here's how far she takes this, just to prove the depth of her absurdity. Last year, a company called Thinx, with an X, was selling period-proof underwear for women. Now, as you can imagine, that's a bit awkward to advertise. So the premise for their commercial was to make that exact point. So instead of having women talk about why the product would be useful, they showed a bunch of guys having to deal with periods the way women do, borrowing tampons from each other, telling their parents it's that time of the month, things like that. It was funny only because you don't ever see that. And it's arguably the ick factor for guys that makes the subject harder for women to talk about. At the end of the commercial, the screen reads, if we all had them, maybe we'd be more comfortable with them. Very clever. So what did Monica say about that? She got mad about transgender people. Because this ad, she said, was trying to normalize periods between genders. She also yelled, men do not menstruate, ever, period. The commercial wasn't about trans people. Monica just couldn't help herself. She couldn't not be a bigot. I think she was angry about a thought experiment since it forced her to make use of her only brain cell. Monica takes credit for everything, no matter what. You know how TV shows get canceled all the time? That's not weird. That's how they work. But if Monica launches a boycott, and then a show gets canceled years down the line, she'll still take credit for it. If a commercial she boycotted stops airing, which is how commercials work, she'll take credit for it. She took credit for shutting down a Kit Kat commercial that used a sexual Missy Elliott song when they began airing a different one. She also took credit for ending a show called Once Upon a Time because she complained that they featured a lesbian couple. The show was on for 7 seasons. It was only taken off the air after the ratings dropped lower and lower. Monica had nothing to do with it. Here's the good news. People are catching on to her con. There was a time when ad companies might change commercials or TV shows might drop sponsors because of Monica's complaints. But last year, that really began to change. Hallmark, which airs a ton of cookie-cutter Christmas movies over the holidays, aired a commercial for the wedding planning website Zola that featured 2 women kissing after they got married. Harmless. But Monica complained. And Hallmark said they would remove that ad from rotation. Zola responded by removing all their ads from Hallmark. Like, we don't care, we're not giving your channel any money if you're gonna play this game. And then Hallmark said, you know what? We screwed up. There was nothing wrong with the first commercial. We never should have removed it. Sorry. And not only did they reinstate the ad, this year, one of Hallmark's original, traditional Christmas movies will feature a same-sex couple. Talk about a boycott campaign backfiring. Look, ultimately, 1 Million Moms isn't going away. Monica isn't going away. But if you're watching this video because you heard about one of their campaigns, I just want to tell you their complaint is probably nothing more than a publicity stunt for a conservative Christian group run by one woman who knows she has no actual ability to change anyone's minds. All she sells is fear and bigotry under the guise of protecting the family. There's no reason for companies to change what they're doing, at least if it's defensible, which it usually is, just because Monica is coming after them. Don't let the name of the group confuse you. Monica has to create supporters out of thin air because her actual Christian base of support is dwindling every year.